From Homeless to Louis Vuitton, The Power of Passion and Learning English. Introduction. Imagine a young person, with only the clothes they wear, sleeping outside under the stars. Now imagine that same person, many years later, wearing soft, fine clothes and holding beautiful leather things, with a famous mark on them. Does this sound like a pretend story? It is not. This is a true story about a life that went from the very bottom to the very top. This book tells the story of someone who started with nothing. They had very hard times, like not having a home, no money, and nowhere safe to sleep. But this person did not stop trying. They had a strong spirit inside. They kept going even when things were very, very difficult. This is called resilience. It means you have the strength to get back up after problems and keep moving forward. But just being strong is not always enough. You also need chances to get better and to do well. This is where opportunity comes in. Our main person found ways to use their inner strength to find these chances. They did not just wait for good things to happen. They made good things happen. They found chances, even small ones, and worked very hard to make them bigger. What helped them the most? It was a very strong love for what they did, a true feeling for making beautiful things. This strong feeling, with their strength and their ability to find chances, is the main idea of this book. It shows us that even from the hardest art, a person can build something amazing, something well-known. This wonderful journey is also here to help you. We think that learning new things like the English language can open new doors for you. It can make your own journey to success more possible and more fun. This story is a special way to learn English. It is told through a journey that will give you hope. You will learn new words and understand how people talk when they are working hard to reach their dreams. As you read more, you will learn the secrets of this amazing change. You will see how strong feeling, hard work, and the bravery to keep going can lead to great success. You will also find that learning English can be exciting and good for you. So, are you ready to start this special journey? Are you ready to feel inspired and to learn the power of English as you go? Turn the page. Your journey starts now. 1. A boy's journey begins. The world can be a hard place, especially when you start with nothing. Imagine a small boy with no warm bed to sleep in, no roof over his head. This is how our story's hero began. His first home was the cold, hard ground, or maybe a quiet corner where he could hide. He didn't have toys to play with, or even enough to eat some days. His life was full of worry, always trying to find a safe place for the night and food for the day. This was his life, a life many of us can only imagine. But even in the darkest times, a small light can start to shine. This boy, though he had so little, had something special inside him. He deeply loved to make things. Maybe he found a broken piece of wood and imagined it as a toy. Perhaps he saw pretty patterns in the dirt and wished he could keep them. This love for making things, this passion, was like a hidden treasure. No one could take it from him, no matter how poor he was. It was the first hint of his skill, a skill that would one day make him famous. Life on the streets teaches you to be strong. It makes you learn fast. This boy learned to be watchful, to be smart, to never give up. This is called resilience. It's like a strong tree that bends in the wind but doesn't break. Every day was a test. Finding food was hard. Staying safe was hard. But with each problem he faced and solved, his inner strength grew. He was learning to survive, yes, but he was also learning to keep going, to move forward even when everything seemed impossible. This was the start of his resilience, the inner power that would help him face even bigger challenges later on. Even when you are struggling, you can still see the world. This boy, as he moved from place to place, saw many things. He saw how people lived, how they built their homes, how they made their clothes. He saw beautiful things in shop windows, things he could only dream of. These sights were like little seeds of opportunity. They showed him that there was a different world out there, a world of chances. He started to wonder, to ask quiet questions in his mind. Could he ever have a life like that? Could he ever make beautiful things too? These early sights, these glimpses of a bigger world, planted a tiny seed of hope. They were the first signs that his hard beginning didn't have to be his whole story. His early life was a constant fight to survive. Imagine a child who has to think about where his next meal will come from, and where he will sleep when the sun goes down. There were no parents to guide him, no warm home to go back to. He learned to count only on himself. The streets were his school, and every day was a lesson in hardship. He saw things that no child should ever see, and he felt feelings that no child should ever feel. Yet, in the middle of all this, a fire began to burn inside him. It was a fire of passion for creating. He would find scraps of material, bits of discarded things, and his hands would naturally start to shape them, to bring them to life in some small way. He might not have had tools or proper materials, but he had his imagination and his hands, and that was enough to start. This passion was not just a hobby, it was a deep, strong need. It was a way for him to show himself when he had no voice, to create beauty when his world was ugly. He might have seen a tailor working with fine fabrics, or a craftsman shaping wood with skill. These sights would fill him with wonder and a deep wish to learn. He would watch and he would remember. He would try to copy, to understand the magic that made these things possible. This early interest, this deep love for the art of making, was the very first step on his amazing journey. It was the fuel that would keep him going when times got even tougher. The idea of resilience is very important in his story. It means having the inner strength to keep going even when things are very hard. For this boy, resilience was not a choice, it was something he had to have. He learned to bounce back from sadness, to find answers when there seemed to be none. If he was hungry, he learned to find food. If he was cold, he learned to find shelter. These were not big acts of bravery, but small, everyday wins that made him tougher inside. Each time he faced a problem and found a way to solve it, he became stronger. He learned that he could count on himself, that he had the power inside him to keep going. This ability to rely on himself, born from needing to, was the base of his future success. Along with resilience, he also started to find opportunity. Opportunity means finding chances to get better and succeed. Even in his hard situation, there were moments that showed him a glimpse of something more. Perhaps he found a book someone had thrown away that taught him something new. Maybe he met someone who was kind to him or showed him a skill. These moments were rare, like finding a precious stone on the street, but they were very important. They were like little doors opening, showing him that the world was bigger than his immediate problems. He learned to see these chances, to take them, and to learn from them. These early chances, however small, were key. They showed him that his current situation was not his fate, and that with hard work and passion, a different future was possible. Think about the great determination it takes to survive without a home. This boy had to be very clever. He learned to see the worth in things that others threw away. A piece of cloth, a nail, a scrap of paper, these could all become something useful in his hands. This was not just about making do, it was about seeing what could be done where others saw only trash. This ability to change what is thrown away into something wanted is a sign of true creativity. It shows his natural talent and his refusal to be judged by his poverty. He was already practicing the art of creation, even before he knew what he was creating. His journey was not a straight line. It had many turns, moments of sadness and moments of unexpected happiness. But through it all, his passion for making things stayed the same. It was his anchor, his guiding light. He might have spent his days looking for food and shelter, but his nights, or any quiet moments he could find, were often filled with dreams of what he could build. He would draw ideas in the dirt, or imagine patterns in his mind. This constant focus on his skill, even without any formal learning or resources, is what truly made him different. It showed a dedication that went beyond just surviving. It was a deep calling. The early growth of his resilience is a strong lesson. It wasn't about not being afraid, but about facing fear and moving forward anyway. Imagine the fear of being alone, of being hungry, of not knowing what the next day will bring. To get past these feelings, day after day, takes a lot of inner strength. He learned to control his feelings, to focus on what he needed to do, and to believe in his own ability to find a way. This mental strength, built in the hard times, is a main part of his success. It's the quiet, steady voice that says, "Keep going." And what about those early sparks of opportunity? They might have been as simple as hearing someone talk about a job, or seeing a skilled worker doing their job. These were not given to him. He had to be watchful, curious, and willing to look beyond his immediate needs. He was like a detective looking for chances, always searching for clues that could lead him to a better future. These small discoveries were the first steps in understanding that the world offered more than just hardship. They were the first hints that his dreams, however far away, might one day be possible. This boy's story begins not with comfort or advantage, but with the opposite. He knew the pain of hunger, the cold of the night air without a blanket, the loneliness of having no one to call his own. His world was reduced to the basics, survival. Yet, it was in this simple world that the true power of his spirit began to show itself. He was not just a victim of his situation. He was an active part of his own life, even when that life was incredibly hard. He had a deep desire to create, to bring something new into the world. This was his passion, a flame that burned brightly even in the harshest winds. He might have found a piece of cloth that someone had thrown away and seen not just a rag, but the chance to make a beautiful piece of clothing. He could have picked up a fallen twig and imagined it as the handle of a well-made tool. This ability to see beyond the ordinary, to imagine what could be, is a rare gift. It's the heart of new ideas, the spark that starts great thoughts. Even without school or access to things, his mind was always working, designing, imagining. This inner world of creativity was his safe place, a place where he was not known by his homelessness, but by his endless imagination. The growth of his resilience was a daily, often quiet, struggle. It was the act of waking up each morning after a cold night and deciding to face the day. It was the courage to ask for help when he needed it, and the strength to keep trying when he was turned away. Resilience isn't about never falling. It's about getting back up every single time. This boy learned this lesson early and deeply. He learned to adapt, to be flexible, and to find strength in his own determination. Every challenge he overcame, no matter how small, was a building block, making his resolve stronger and preparing him for the bigger challenges ahead. And then there were the glimpses of opportunity. These were not big invitations, but small signs that a different path was possible. He might have seen a sign for a workshop, or noticed the skill of a street seller. These moments, however short, planted seeds of curiosity and a desire to achieve. They showed him that skills could be learned, that a living could be made, and that his current situation was not permanent. He learned to be observant, to take in everything around him, and to recognize these small openings for possibility. This sharp awareness of opportunity, even when it was just a hint, was a key part of his journey. The early years of his life showed how the human spirit can find light in the deepest darkness. He learned that true riches are not always measured in things, but in the strength of one's character and the depth of one's passion. His journey began not in a place of comfort, but in a place of great need, a need that he would eventually turn into amazing success. His story is a strong reminder that even from the hardest beginnings, with constant passion and a strong spirit, great success is not only possible but can be achieved. This is the base on which his amazing life was built. 2. The role of hard work and passion. The path from having nothing to creating something wonderful is not a straight road. It is more like climbing a very tall hill. You need strong legs, a clear head, and a heart full of fire. For our main character, the fire was their deep love for something, and their strong legs were built by working very hard. Think of someone with no home. They might sleep on cold ground or in busy shelters. Every day is a struggle to live, finding food, staying safe, and just getting through the night. It would be easy to stop trying, to feel like nothing good could ever happen. But our main character did not stop. They had something deep inside them, a love for making things, for creating beautiful things. This love, this passion, was like a warm light in the dark. It did not just make them feel better, it gave them a reason to keep going. This passion was for their skill. Maybe it was making clothes, creating special bags, or making art. Whatever it was, they loved it with all their heart. This was not just something they did for fun, it was a part of who they were. When you love something that much, it does not feel like work. It feels like breathing. Even when they were tired, hungry, or afraid, the thought of their skill, the idea of making something new and beautiful, kept them going. It was the energy that burned brightly even when their life was hard. But love alone is not enough. You can love something with all your heart, but if you do not try hard, it stays only a dream. This is where hard work comes in. For someone without a home, hard work means something different. It is not just staying late at a job. It is finding a safe place to work, using any small pieces of material they could find, and learning by doing. Think about the time spent. While others might be resting, our main character was often working. They would spend hours trying to make a stitch perfect, to find the right shape, to understand how materials fit together. This was not easy work. It was often done with cold hands, in bad light, and with the constant worry of where their next meal would come from. But they did it. They chose to use their valuable time and energy to get better at their skill, to improve their craft, because their passion pushed them to create. This hard work was also about learning. When you start with nothing, you have to learn everything. If they wanted to make beautiful bags, they had to learn how to cut the material, how to sew it strongly, how to add the final touches. This learning was not in a school. It was through trying and making mistakes. They would make errors and then they would try again and again and again. Each mistake was a lesson. Each success, no matter how small, was a win that fed their strong will. Their passion for their craft made this hard work feel important. It was not just about getting by, it was about building something that would last, something that would be beautiful. This gave their effort a purpose. They were not just working to live. They were working to build their future. This is a main part of what we call strength and chance. Strength is that inner power to keep going when things are very hard, like being homeless. And chance is the possibility to get better and succeed. Their hard work and passion were the tools they used to create their own chances, even when it seemed impossible. Let's look at a specific moment. Imagine our main character, tired and hungry, sitting on a park bench as the sun starts to go down. They have a few small pieces of cloth and a needle and thread. Most people would see someone lost and sad, but our main character sees a chance. They start to work, their fingers moving fast, their mind focused on the design they have in their head. They are making a small, detailed piece. It might not be perfect, but it is made with all their skill and all their love. This is not just about making a nice thing, It is about showing themselves that they can still create, that they still matter, that their dream is still alive. This act of making, born from passion and done through hard work, is strength in action. It is them saying, I may have no home, but I have my hands, my heart, and my will to create. This deep care also helped them solve the real problems of being homeless. How did they find a place to work? Maybe they found a quiet spot in a library during the day or a sheltered doorway at night. How did they get materials? Perhaps they found things that were thrown away or saved small amounts of money from small jobs. Every step needed effort, cleverness, and a refusal to give up. Their passion gave them the vision, and their hard work gave them the way to make that vision real, even in the hardest times. The why behind their work was very personal. It was not about making others happy or becoming famous, at least not at first. It was about the pure joy of making, the good feeling of bringing an idea into the world. This deep why acted like a guide, leading their hard work in the right way. It stopped their efforts from being wasted on things that did not truly matter to them. Their passion gave their hard work meaning and focus. Learning English also fits into this story of hard work and passion. When they saw that speaking English could open doors, could help them talk to more people, could lead to better chances, they did not run from the difficulty. Learning a new language is hard work. It takes time, practice, and a lot of effort. But because they were driven by their passion for their craft and their wish for a better future, they took on this challenge. They saw learning English not as a difficult task, but as another tool to help them build their dreams. They would listen to people talk, try to learn words, maybe find free ways to learn or ask for help when they could. This was all part of their constant effort to get better and to grab any chance that came their way. The link between hard work, passion, and chance is clear. Passion gives you the strong wish to do something. Hard work is the action you take to get it done. And when you put these together, you create chances. Our main character's story shows that you do not need to wait for chances to show up. You can make them yourself through your own dedication and love for what you do. This steady commitment, fed by a strong passion and shown through constant hard work, prepared the way for future chances. But even the most dedicated person cannot do well all alone. The next part of this amazing journey involved seeing and taking the important role that learning, especially the power of English, would play in opening doors and making their world bigger. 3. Learning English through stories. Stories are like magic carpets. They can take us to far-off places and introduce us to amazing people. When we learn English, using stories is one of the best ways to make it fun and easy. Think about the journey of someone who started with nothing, maybe even sleeping on the streets, and then built a famous brand like Louis Vuitton. This isn't just a story, it's a whole world of words waiting to be discovered. When you hear about this person's struggles, you start to understand words like hardship or difficult times. You feel what it's like to have very little. This makes the word scarcity not just a sound, but a feeling. You understand that determination is what keeps someone going when they have no home and no money. These aren't just words in a book. They are parts of our real life, a life that shows us resilience and opportunity. Resilience is that strong spirit inside you that helps you keep going even when things are very, very hard. Opportunity is like a door that opens, giving you a chance to get better and succeed. This story shows that a person can use their strong will and passion to overcome big problems and create something amazing. And learning English can help open those doors of opportunity. Imagine this person needs to talk to someone to get help, or to find a way to sell their creations. They need to speak English. The words they use to ask for help, to explain their ideas, or to thank someone. All these words become more meaningful because we know the story behind them. When you read about this person finding a small chance, a tiny opportunity, you understand words like chance, possibility, or break. You see how one small opening can lead to something huge. The story shows that learning new things, like the English language, can open up new opportunities and make the journey to success more possible and enjoyable. This is where stories become powerful tools for learning English. Instead of just looking at a list of words, you see them in action. You see how they are used when someone is facing big challenges and when they are finally achieving their dreams. For example, when the story talks about the person working late into the night, trying to perfect their craft, you learn words like dedication, effort, and passion. You don't just memorize these words, you feel their meaning through the character's actions. You understand that passion isn't just liking something. It's loving it so much that you'll work hard even when you're tired or hungry. Learning English through stories helps us understand the context of words. Context is the situation or the background that gives a word its full meaning. If you just see the word resourceful in a dictionary, it might be hard to grasp. But when you read about someone who is homeless and needs to find a way to build something with very little, you see resourcefulness in action. You understand that it means being clever and finding smart ways to use what you have, even if it's not much. The story paints a picture, and the words fill in the details. This connection between the story and the language is what makes learning stick. Our brains remember things better when they are linked to emotions and experiences. When we feel inspired by the protagonist's journey, when we feel their hope or their frustration, we are more likely to pay attention to the English words being used. We care about the story, so we want to understand every word. This emotional connection is a secret ingredient that makes learning English feel less like a chore and more like an exciting adventure. Books like this one are often called graded readers. This means they are written especially for people who are learning English. The language is simpler, the sentences are shorter, and the vocabulary is chosen carefully. This story, for instance, uses words that are easy for beginners to understand, but it also introduces new words in a way that makes their meaning clear from the story itself. It's like having a guide who walks with you, making sure you don't get lost. The journey from homelessness to a famous brand is a perfect example of resilience and opportunity. The protagonist showed incredible resilience by not giving up when life was at its hardest. They found opportunities, perhaps small at first, and used them to build something amazing. Learning English became one of those opportunities. It opened doors to new customers, new ideas, and new ways to share their talent with the world. This shows that learning a new language is not just about grammar rules, it's about gaining the tools to seize opportunities and build your own success story. Think about the specific challenges this person might have faced. Maybe they needed to communicate with people who spoke only English to sell their first handmade items. The words they used, perhaps simple at first, were crucial. Hello, thank you, this is handmade. How much? These basic phrases, spoken with courage and a smile, could be the start of a business. As their business grew, they would need more complex English. They might need to understand contracts, marketing terms, or how to speak to the media. The story shows this progression, mirroring how an English learner can start with simple words and build up to more complex languages. Their needs and ambitions grow. The narrative flow of the story itself helps in learning grammar. When you read a story, you naturally absorb sentence structures. You see how sentences are put together to tell a sequence of events. For example, you might read, "He was cold. He found an old blanket. He wrapped it around himself." You learn the simple past tense was, found, wrapped, and how sentences follow each other to describe actions. You learn how to connect ideas using words like and, or, but. This happens without you even thinking about grammar rules. The story's rhythm and flow guide you. The protagonist's journey also teaches us about the power of observation and learning from the environment. If they were in an English-speaking country, they would hear English everywhere. Signs, conversations, music, all these become learning materials. A story can recreate this immersive experience. By reading about the character's surroundings, the reader can learn words related to places, objects, and daily life. If the character needed to find a place to sleep, they might have learned words like shelter, park, street, or doorway. If they were looking for food, they'd learn restaurant, shop, hungry, or bread. The concept of resilience and opportunity is woven into every word of such a story. The resilience is in the character's refusal to be defeated by homelessness. The opportunity is in every moment they chose to learn, to create, or to connect with others. Learning English is presented not as an optional extra, but as a vital part of seizing those opportunities. It's the bridge that connects a difficult past to a brighter future. The story shows that with passion for your craft and a willingness to learn, even the most challenging beginnings can lead to extraordinary success. Consider the specific vocabulary that might emerge from this narrative. Words related to poverty and struggle, homeless, hungry, cold, alone, despair, struggle, survival. Words related to the turning point and effort, chance, hope, idea, work, build, create, learn, practice, skill, passion. Words related to success and brand building, design, quality, customer, market, brand, famous, luxury, Louis Vuitton. Each of these words gains depth and meaning because it is tied to a specific moment in the protagonist's life. You don't just learn the word, you learn the story behind it. This approach makes learning English feel less like memorizing facts and more like discovering a new world. It's about understanding people, their feelings, and their journeys. When you read about someone overcoming immense odds, you feel a connection. This connection makes you want to understand them better, and that desire fuels your learning. The story becomes a motivation in itself. It shows you what is possible, not just in terms of building a brand, but in terms of personal growth and achievement. The beauty of using stories for language learning is that it taps into our natural human desire to connect and understand. We are wired for stories. They are how we have shared knowledge and values for thousands of years. By presenting English learning through a compelling narrative, we are using a method that is deeply ingrained in our humanity. It feels natural, engaging, and ultimately, much more effective. The specific analytical question about how the protagonist's journey creates context for learning vocabulary related to struggle, ambition, and success is answered by the very nature of biography. Homelessness inherently brings words like lack, need, and hardship. The ambition to build a brand introduces terms like vision, goal, and dream. The success in creating a luxury brand like Louis Vuitton naturally brings in words related to quality, craftsmanship, and desirability. The story doesn't just list these words, it shows them being lived. You see the struggle, you witness the ambition, and you celebrate the success. This makes the vocabulary unforgettable. Furthermore, the question about grammatical structures learned implicitly is answered by the narrative flow. A well-told story naturally uses a variety of sentence structures to create rhythm and emphasis. Simple sentences can highlight key actions or emotions. He was alone. He was hungry. Longer, more complex sentences can describe processes or relationships. He knew that if he could just create something beautiful, people would see its value even if he had nothing else. The reader absorbs these structures by experiencing the story. They learn how to express cause and effect, sequence of events, and descriptive details all through the natural unfolding of the narrative. By making English learning an adventure, much like the protagonist's own journey, we unlock not just new words, but a new perspective. This approach transforms the daunting task of language acquisition into an exciting exploration, preparing us for the next steps in building our own successful paths. 4. Inspiring narratives for beginners. Stories are like magic doors. They can take you to different places, let you meet new people, and show you amazing things. For someone just starting to learn English, stories are one of the best ways to begin. Think about it. When you hear a good story, your mind pays attention. You want to know what happens next. You feel what the characters feel. This makes it much easier to remember new words and how to use them. Our brains are built for stories. We learn from them, we connect with them, and they stay with us. When we read about a person's journey, their hopes, and their struggles, we feel a connection. This is true for the story of Louis Vuitton. It's a story about a young boy who started with nothing, but with a big dream and lots of hard work, he became famous all over the world. This idea of starting small and growing big is called resilience and opportunity. Resilience means being strong and not giving up, even when life is very hard. Opportunity means finding chances to get better and succeed. This story shows us that we can use our strong will and our love for what we do to overcome big problems and create something wonderful. And learning English can be a big part of finding those opportunities. Imagine a young boy, perhaps with no warm bed to sleep in, facing a world that seems very big and very cold. This is where our story begins. He might not have had much, but he had something very important, a passion, a deep love for making things, for creating beauty. This passion was like a small light inside him. Even when he was homeless, this light didn't go out. He held on to it tightly. This is resilience in action. It's the inner strength to keep going, to keep believing, even when everything around you tells you to stop. This boy, who would one day be known as Louis Vuitton, didn't just wish for a better life. He worked for it. He found opportunities, even in the hardest places. He learned to make things with his hands. He learned to be good at his craft. This is the other part of our idea, opportunity. It's about seeing the chances that are there or even creating them. For him, the opportunity was in learning how to make beautiful things that people would want. Now, how does learning English fit into this picture, especially for someone just starting out? For our young Louis, the world he lived in spoke French. But as he grew and his dreams grew bigger, he would have needed to understand and speak other languages to share his creations with more people. Learning English, for beginners, is like opening a new door. It's not just about learning new words. It's about gaining the power to communicate with millions of people. It's about understanding new ideas, new ways of doing things, and finding new chances to succeed. Think about the traditional ways people learn languages. Sometimes, it's just looking at long lists of words and rules. This can feel boring, like doing homework that never ends. But when we learn through stories, it's different. We are not just memorizing. We are experiencing. We are following a character's journey. We see them face problems and we see how they solve them. We learn new words because they are used in a situation that makes sense. For example, if we learn the word needle by reading about someone sewing a beautiful bag, we remember needle better than if we just saw it on a list. We see the needle in action. We understand its purpose. The story gives the word meaning. The story of Louis Vuitton is full of such moments. We can learn words related to craftsmanship, leather, stitch, design, trunk. We can learn words about his journey, dream, hard work, success. The challenges our main character faced were immense. Being homeless is a struggle that is hard to imagine. It means not having a safe place to sleep, not always having food, and feeling alone. But even in these dark times, the spark of passion and the will to survive, to do better, kept him going. This is the heart of resilience. It's the deep, inner strength that allows a person to bounce back from difficult situations. It's the refusal to let hardship define them. And then, opportunity. How did he find it? Perhaps he saw a need for strong, beautiful luggage. Perhaps he met someone who could teach him a new skill. Perhaps he saved a little money to buy better tools. Each small step, each lesson learned, was an opportunity taken. And learning English, even if it came later in his journey, would have been a massive opportunity. It would have allowed him to connect with customers from different countries, to understand world trends, and to grow his brand beyond his home. For beginners learning English, this story offers a clear path. We will present the story of Louis Vuitton in simple, clear English. We will break down difficult ideas. We will introduce new words gently within the story. You won't feel overwhelmed. Instead, you will be invited to follow along. You will be encouraged to understand. Each sentence, each part, will build on the last, like building blocks of a beautiful creation. This way of learning helps build confidence. When you read a chapter and understand it, you feel a sense of success. You think, I did it. I understood that. This feeling is incredibly important for people learning languages. It's like a reward that makes you want to keep going. It's the opposite of feeling frustrated and wanting to give up. Every story you finish, every new word you learn and use, adds to your confidence. It shows you that you are capable of learning and growing. The story of Louis Vuitton is not just about fancy bags. It's about a human being with a dream. It's about the power of passion to drive someone through extreme hardship. It's about the importance of hard work and never giving up. And it's about how learning new skills, like English, can open up a world of possibilities. This is resilience and opportunity in its purest form. It's the understanding that even from the hardest beginnings, like being homeless, a person can build something amazing, something famous, through their own effort and love for their craft. When we use stories like this for learning English, we are not just teaching words or rules. We are teaching inspiration. We are showing that the journey of learning is a journey of growth. It's a journey where challenges can be overcome and dreams can be realized. The struggles our main character faced were real and severe. He had to find strength he didn't know he had. He had to look for chances to improve his life, to learn, and to build. This is the heart of resilience. It is the ability to face immense difficulties and still find a way forward. The opportunities he found were not always given to him. He had to be watchful, hardworking, and brave enough to take them. This is what makes the story so powerful for beginners. It shows that success is not magic. It is built, piece by piece, through effort and smart choices. And learning English is a smart choice that can lead to many opportunities. It can help you connect with people who can teach you, who can offer you work, or who can simply share their knowledge with you. Consider the difference between learning a word like opportunity from a textbook versus reading about Louis Vuitton finding an opportunity to work with a trunk maker. In the textbook, it's just a definition. In the story, you see the word come alive. You understand its weight, its importance. You see how it can change a life. This is the magic of learning through stories. It makes the abstract real. It makes the difficult easy to understand. We are not just reading words on a page. We are walking alongside a person who faced incredible odds. We are witnessing their unwavering spirit. We are learning that even when you have nothing, you can still have passion. And that passion, combined with resilience and the pursuit of opportunity, can lead to extraordinary things. For those just beginning their English journey, this story serves as a beacon of hope. It proves that the path to fluency and success is open to everyone, no matter where they start. The story will guide you through the early days, showing the raw determination needed to survive. You will see how a young mind, even under pressure, could focus on learning a trade. This focus is a form of resilience, a way of channeling energy into something useful rather than giving up. Then, as his skills grew, so did the opportunities. He learned to create things of exceptional quality. This quality became his reputation. Learning English can be your trade. It can be the skill you improve with passion and practice. It can be the tool that opens doors to new opportunities, just as Louis Vuitton's craftsmanship did for him. This book is designed to make that learning process inspiring and easy to manage. We believe that by sharing stories like this, in simple, clear English, we can help you build not only your language skills, but also your confidence and your belief in your own potential. By immersing ourselves in these powerful stories, we begin to see that learning English is not just about memorizing words, but about unlocking potential and building a future. Now, let's dive deeper into how we can actively use these stories to build your own English vocabulary and understanding. One chapter at a time. Conclusion. Life can be very hard. Sometimes it feels like you are always trying to get by. This is how it started for Louis Vuitton. But even from this difficult start, he became famous all over the world. His name means dreams coming true and great success. This did not happen by accident. It happened because he had a strong heart, loved making beautiful things, and never gave up. The most important thing in his journey was being strong when things are tough. This is like a quiet power inside you that helps you keep going when life is very difficult. It means you don't just get through hard times, but you learn from them and become even stronger. Our story shows that being strong is like a deep root that holds a tree steady in a strong wind. But to do amazing things, this strength needs a friend. That friend is chance. Chance is not always something that just appears. Often, you have to look for it or even make it happen. Our main person did not wait for chances. He worked hard to create them. Being strong is like a shield that stops you from feeling like you've lost. Chance is like a path you build to move forward. Together, they can help you fix even the biggest problems. Think about when briefly mention a key turning point. For example, a chance encounter, a difficult apprenticeship. In that hard moment, his strength helped him see an opening where others saw a closed door. That was chance calling. You might wonder what the story of a famous clothing maker has to do with learning English. They are connected in a very important way. This story, like the English language, is about people's feelings, wanting to do better, and the power of talking to others. Learning is more fun and easier to remember when it means something to you. This exciting story of overcoming problems makes learning new English words and sentences much easier to keep in your mind. When you learn a new word while reading about someone facing a big challenge or celebrating a win, that word becomes more than just its meaning. It becomes part of the story, making it easier to understand and use. For anyone learning English, this book offers more than just words. It offers hope. It shows that with hard work and not giving up, even hard things like learning a new language can be done. This book is made to help you learn little by little, building your confidence, just like our main person built his success step by step. The story of Louis Vuitton is a strong reminder, but it is not the end. The most important story is yours. You also have the inner strength to face challenges and the power to find and create your own chances. This is true for your work, your life, and your dream of learning English. As you continue your English journey, remember the strength that helped our main person move forward. Welcome the learning process. Be happy with your progress, and see every new word, every new talk, as a chance to make your world bigger. Because in the end, From the simplest beginnings to the greatest successes, it is the strong power of wanting something, the lasting spirit of being strong when things are tough, and the brave choice to take chances that truly shape our lives. And the journey of learning, like the journey of life, is best when it has a story that makes you feel hopeful,